just then in relation to pupils, staff not sharing items and cleaning up as they go?
Yeah, I mean, that's the basic infection control procedures that we really ask you to be cognizant of at all times. And I know a huge amount of work has gone into place to get that established in a general way. But there are always incidents that might happen in school. For example, you know, someone is feeling maybe a little unwell from a completely different issue, a pre-existing medical condition, and you know, maybe a teacher wants to move that pupil closer to the front of the class, or a student might have a visual problem for something and need to move further. And that is where you need to be really careful that you don't let your guard down and forget that anything needs to be clean. So if students swap tables or chairs or need to share any equipment for any reason, that should be cleaned with alcohol wipes, for example, and to maintain that infection control and not have a breach there without thinking about it.
That's super.
Can I just, Paul, just
of course you can.
Say a few comments at the end now, just to sum back up. The most important thing that we would really want to get across is preparation and how the school is run at this time. The single most important thing here is to ensure that we have as much social distancing as possible, and that if you arrange things in the school, that is there. So if the classes are the pods, the classes need to be socially distanced at all times. So they can't be socially distanced in school and go into the playground and be together. And likewise, the pods in the classroom can't go outside and play together. It's very important. And then equally so, we need to ensure that the staff, when they're off the stage in the classroom, remember that they still need to do this. This is a big problem that we've had very big problems with in the hospitals, is that the staff are very good at doing it when they're in their clinical duties, but as soon as they go away, people relax, and that's an important issue. So the social distance is as important in the classroom as it is in the staff room, and it's more important to make sure that happens as well, that we ensure those social distancing, that hygiene and all of those things. And as important is that people do not come into school, be they a teacher, another member of staff or a child, if they have symptoms. That is so, so important at the moment.
Okay. Can I just clarify one point there? Because the guidance, the HPSA and the HSE guidance on the return to school are underpinning it, said that obviously pods in classes, but that in the playground that class bubbles could play together, as in just the bubble of the class, because it was outdoors and there was a lower risk of transmission.
Yes.
And that it wouldn't be as in individual bubbles in those, or pods, I should say, in those bubbles, having to stay together in separate areas of the yard for that class group.
Okay, I'll accept that, but I think we do need to make sure that we keep the classes separate, and we do have separation. But even, I think we may have to come back to our own advice because of some of what we've been witnessing. But that is the advice, then we'll go with that.
Yeah, and I suppose that's a point that Noreen made at the start, in that all of this is subject to change and subject to update, and it's really important, I suppose, for schools to continue to monitor that, and we'll certainly be communicating that, and I'm sure you will also.
Yeah, and I think just to back up what Kevin was saying there, you know, the more physical distancing there is, the less chance there is of further spread. So it's not about absolutes, that, you know, it's not sort of a binary, were they in the pod, were they not in the pod. It's not a right or wrong. It's a gradation of risk, and the more that you can keep the children separate, the less risk there is going to be. Now that has to be balanced against education and holistic needs and the needs for children to play. So that's how you end up with these sort of rigid pods can play or not play, and classes can mingle or not mingle. But you know, the important point and concept for teachers to have in their heads the whole time is, how can I keep people as far away as best possible to reduce those risks? And it's thinking about that within each scenario that you are in, that will help to keep the chances of any infection transmission down.